Oh shoot, what do we have here? Another Mercedes, an SL coming from, I think, Mississippi. Yeah, I think it's an SL550. Yeah, coming from Mississippi to Cincinnati, Ohio. Now they're trying to probably figure out the best way of removing this, because there's no, well, I guess they could turn around. It's probably easy to just remove it from here and then drive it up to the house. I think it drives. All right, let's see. Okay, what do we have here? Another Mercedes SL550 that just got delivered from Mississippi here to Ohio. This here requires an ABC conversion to a adjustable coilover installation for the suspension. ABC meaning active body control. It is a hydraulic fluid suspension that is prevalent and known for failure. That's why the car is sitting like this. This driver's side is sitting up high while the passenger side is sitting low, because this system fails all the time. And when it does, customers really don't know what to do. You can continue to maintain, or you can get rid of that ABC system. It's very expensive. That's what makes these cars unreliable, is the suspension. It's very expensive. Mercedes charges a lot of money to fix that suspension. A strut replacement can cost you $1,000 to $2,500, just one strut. And guess what? There's 4 of them. Also, the ABC pump that operates the suspension and pressurizes it, it fails. The valve blocks, they fail. The accumulators fail. The lines rupture. There's so many components that can fail. That's why I encourage all SL owners to do what? To do Silver's Neomax adjustable coilover suspension. This right here, I'm telling you guys, this is the only option. This is the future, guys. This is the future of all SLs. The best option for the Mercedes SL. All right, guys, so we see here, this Mercedes SL550 has ABC issues. You see here on the passenger side, it's not even, it's sitting low in the rear passenger. Now let's look at the driver's side. It's sitting high. It's sitting high because it's trying to raise up to overcompensate for the rear low failure. So your driver's side looks like a pickup truck, while the other side is low in the rear. And so instead of continuing to spend the money to maintain and fix ABC, this customer, this client of mine, has decided to turn this SL550 into a reliable SL by getting rid of the active body control suspension and replacing it with Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers. What year is this? 07. Ooh, look at this. What do we have here? Oh, this is gorgeous. That's what I'm talking about, man. Wood grain shifter, double din. A nice one too. I gotta get this done to mine. What am I waiting for? Dang, this is nice. This double din is crispy. Let's see what it looks like at startup. Put on the brake. Woo! Starting multimedia. Look how clean and crisp that is. Very nice. What unit is this? All right, let's see how many miles is on here. 47,000 miles. Man, low mileage. I love it. This is so nice, bro. Wow. I have to find out what brand this is. This is crispy. This is sharp. What brand is it? Don't tell me that the steering wheel controls work. Woo! Look at that. I'm so jealous. I gotta ask him who did this. Who installed this? This is nice. I don't know how to find out what brand this is, but I'm gonna ask him. Oh, this is sharp. It's crispy, it's clean. Now this is what you want to double in to look like in your Mercedes SL. Very nice, very nice. All right, well, time to start moving some things around so that I can get this in the garage. All right, stay tuned. Coilover conversion is on the way. Yeah. Beautiful, man. See? This is just an awesome car. I love it. I love it already, you know? Just have to get this suspension working right. Now, it's not throwing any codes. I'm not seeing any codes here. It's not showing that there's an ABC issue on the screen. You usually get the white light, or maybe even the red light if the whole car is too low. But with it lifting up as much as it is on the driver's side, it's probably high enough where the level sensor is not indicating that there's a major problem, although we know that there is a major problem, but it's not indicating that. And then while driving, I'm sure it's gonna, oh yeah, see, I can feel it changing the height as I do it in reverse and then put it in drive. So it's trying to overcompensate for a failure to the ABC system, likely the rear strut or the valve block that sends the fluid over to the passenger side rear. So let me just move it right here for a hot second as I move some things around, and let me get it right. Well, there it goes. The ABC malfunction. So it's the white light indicating that there is an issue. It doesn't say stop driving. It doesn't say oh, wait a minute. As I'm recording this, I feel the car lowering. Hold on. Yeah, see, it's the car is moving. It's definitely too high in the front. It's raising in the rear, trying to make up for that low rear corner back here. See, it's going up and down very slowly, trying to adjust and overcompensate for the failure in the rear passenger side. So yeah, the car knows that there's something wrong, but don't worry, I'll take care of it, I promise. Oh snap, I think this thing has reverse camera. Look. Woo-wee! Man, I love this car. ABC problems, of course. Need some windshield washer fluid. Only 47,000 miles on it. This is a nice car, man. Very nice. Man, this car really is clean. Super clean. Crispy. Very clean. Very clean. Now this rear tire is a little flat, a little low. Was it like that when it came? I don't know. I have to look back at the earlier footage. This one looks good. That one looks good. Just keeping that in mind. Look back at the earlier photo and see if this tire was looking like that before. All right, guys, another car is getting delivered. I have the 2007 right here, and now a 2003 is getting dropped off. So coilover conversions is still, taking place, man. It's warm outside. It's feeling like summer, but it's still spring. But it's perfect weather. People are trying to get their SLs back on the road. So what is necessary oftentimes is getting this coilover suspension installed, getting rid of that ABC. So we have here another SL. Let's see what this bad boy looks like. Another silver one. Looks like it. This might be my first time actually seeing this one. What's up, y'all? All right, there it is. Just take a look. How you doing, man? I have no idea what this car looks like. Okay. Now I know the owner just bought this, so he hasn't even driven it yet. See some damage right there. See some paint work right here. All right. Has the newer tail lights. Nice wheels. Let's see. Huh. Okay. All right. Okay. Suspension sitting low, we can see that. Okay, so now I am at the point. Okay, well, let me explain. I already pulled out the pump. This is now the standard power steering pump that's installed here. A little bit more of a process for the 2007 through 11. Process is a little bit different because it's a different motor. So a little bit more cumbersome. Is that the right word? Yeah, cumbersome. Anyways, so I had to actually the pulley for the power steering pump is a little different. It's bigger. I don't have it right now to show you, but the pulley is different. It's bigger. Same ribbed pulley regarding belt size. Hey guys, just throwing a couple tips out there because I didn't show the process. I'm not going to show the whole process for the coilover conversion because I've done so many times before. And this 2007 through 11, it is slightly different regarding the conversion versus the 02 through 06 because this has the updated ABC. It has a different motor and the updated ABC. So the components are different. The valve blocks, the one in the front is different. There is no pulsation dampener back here. And the one back there, of course, you still have the valve block. But it is the updated, built better ABC suspension. It is put together not with 17 millimeter locking bolts or nuts, locking nuts, but instead it uses pressing, requires two Allen, or it requires an Allen key. It's let me see if I can show you. If I can have it. Okay, these right. Yeah, that's not it. Hold on. Try not to knock anything over. All right. These right here is what secures the lines on that valve block. Requires an Allen key. Much easier to disassemble. Hold on, some of that coffee. Much easier to disassemble than the 02 through 06, but it is not bulletproof. It's not. It might be more reliable, but it's still prone to failure. So I had to disassemble that stuff. The pump is it's an updated pump as well, the ABC pump, and it's designed a little different. A little bit more is involved with removing that. You have the same brackets and attachments. The rear bracket is still hard to remove, but the pulley, the size of the pulley, and the size of the engine requires a little bit more finessing when it comes to pulling that thing out. The lines and everything, though, in general, are similar enough where it's not going to present more difficulty. It's just slightly different where you have to adjust. If you have an 07 through 11, it's still that power steering pump that I use is still the right one to use. Also, regarding the rubber line from the reservoir, I still use the factory reservoir, and then the rubber line that goes down into the pump. You have to use the longer line. They are not the same as the 02 through 06. The rubber inlet lines from the power steering reservoir, I use the longest one, and you angle it. You'll have to bend this a little bit so that that hose does not touch any components. Certainly you don't want it to touch the belt down here. You want to make sure there's clearance between this and the belt. All right, make sure there's clearance in between, which there is. It's hard to see from this angle, but make sure that that does not touch or even come close to touching it, because that's the last thing you want to happen. I use zip ties just to keep that tension on it, just to keep it pulled back, so that it doesn't happen, because just with heat, the rubber softens up and you don't want it to start drooping and accidentally touch that belt. I had to, again, manipulate this a little bit and angle this so that it did not touch it. Use the same clamps that are on the factory hoses. Just use them again. Make sure that you push this one back as far as you can onto that pump before you secure it. Tug on it, make sure it's not loose. The same high pressure rack and pinion power steering line, you use that also for the new pump. If you need that standard power steering pump, please go to my website. I sell those, and those come with the necessary bracket. If you go on your own and try to get an ML5 or a Mercedes V8 pump, it might not come with the bracket. Only specific models came with the bracket, so don't gamble with that. Make it easy. Go to my website. It comes with a 1-year warranty. Buy that pump from my website at www.goldelementautoworks.com. I removed the valve blocks, a lot of the lines, get that stuff out the way, install the new power steering pump, and you're good to go. Make sure you start the car, let it prime. Before you start playing around with that steering wheel, let that oil prime, get the air out of the system. I always leave this cap loose and until I verify that the pump is not making any noise. I save as much fluid as I can, so top it off. Make sure that you have proper levels in there before you start the pump. And keep the cap off because it is a closed system, so I'll allow the air to escape, so that it can, so that you won't have unnecessary issues with that pump. All right, so you don't want to mess that pump up. So you'll know as soon as you start it if that pump is messed up or not. It does come with a 1-year warranty. If for some reason maybe the pump during the delivery process was dropped or there was some type of manufacturing defect. Okay, if you buy a pump from me, I cover it for a year. Don't worry about it. Let's see what else. So the type of fluid that I use is similar, a high temp synthetic power steering fluid. You can use, like that catch, you can use some of this right here. You can use some of this right here. Also, Mercedes has their own, of course. It's like an orangish color. But whatever you use, make sure it's a full synthetic, high temp European blend is what's recommended. All right, so now I have the pump installed and I'm about to start doing the coilovers. So I have the whole front end lifted. It's easy to do. You have, if your car still has it, you have this rubber drop down point. It's a jack point up underneath where you're lifting from the frame. It's a centralized location for the jack. If you're using a jack and you're doing it on the floor, throw some jack stands up under there and get busy. All right, so that's how you lift the car if you're going to do both the front kind of simultaneously instead of one corner at a time. And that's easy to do. How do I break the bottom of the strut loose from the lower control arm? I use a fork. But I don't use a fork the way that most people use the fork around the whole ball joint or this right here. I don't do it this way. I do it from the outside like this on the factory one. And I hammer at it and it breaks loose. So I just use a fork like this. Use a heavy hammer. Position it. I'll show you real quick. Remember when adjusting your Silver's Neomax coilovers that you want to extend the lower portion or the lower half until the threads disappear inside of this hole. You can see the very top right there, right? This is the, it's upside down, but this is the upper portion, the threaded body. Unscrew this until the threads disappear and you only see it right there at the very top. Then decrease it by 1 inch. You measure it. If this is 1 inch, you measure right here and lower it only that much. That will give you the perfect ride height for your vehicle. This is the front. Do the same thing to the rear. Extend the lower portion until the threads disappear inside the hole, and then decrease it by 1 inch. Pre-measure it, put a piece of tape right there, and that's as low as you go, and that will give you that perfect factory height. That is the lowest factory setting. It settles just nice, like perfect. It gives you that look. And after it settles, it's actually a little bit lower than factory height, but it's perfect. You shouldn't have any rubbing, any issues. And that's on your factory rims and tires, all right? Even if you go 20s, you're going to compensate the overall height by going with a lower profile tire. So that's still a perfect setting, guys. So believe me, with these Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers, extend it until the threads disappear in the hole. You can see the very top of it right there. You see it right there. And then decrease it by 1 inch. Pre-measure it, put a piece of tape there, and that is the perfect height. So secure it with the locking collar. And then this preload down here, do it, tighten it up. Once it's tight, that spring is secure and not bouncing around and it's tight, turn it one more time and then secure it with the locking ring, okay? Do not over preload it, but do not under preload it. There should be no rattle, no moving around of that spring, but it shouldn't be so tight that you already have too much load on it, because the bearing down here has to be able to turn in the front when you turn your wheels. So you don't want this spring to have so much preload or pre-tension on it that it pops. You want it to be able to spin freely. All right, so that's my recommendation for the height adjustment on these adjustable coilovers. All right, just like that. I'm going to lower this part down to the blue tape. That's my 1 inch. Do that on all four. Well, let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. Hopefully there's enough light here for you to see. Now, these are the tools that I use to remove the ABC strut from the SL. I use a fork right there. I use a 21 millimeter wrench for the nut. This nut right here. Do you see it? Ugh. I can't see. There it is. No, you can't see it. There it is. Okay, boom. That's a 21 millimeter nut right there. This right here is the 17 millimeter for the lug bolts. I use the hammer for this. Make sure you use a heavy one. This right here is my extension, like my cheater bar that I use. You know, I connected to that. This right here is my 13 millimeter socket that I use for the top of the struts. This right here is what I use along with the hammer in order to do the final securing of the locking collar. And of course, my impact wrench, driver or drill. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Now, regarding the fork, I place it strategically in between. Let me see if you can see. Right here. Let me see if I can zoom in on that. Hold on. I place the fork right there, not in between as usual, but on the outside of the lower control arm and the strut, the bottom of the strut, and I bang it until it pops out. So you have to make sure that you have a wide enough fork that creates enough space after banging it that it separates it. That is what I do. I stay on the outside of that ball joint and I bang it until it pops out. And it works every time. Now, you will have difficulty if you have an R-knot ABC strut. The OEM Mercedes struts have just enough space where that fork works. The R-knot, for whatever reason, has more play at the bottom where it separates. This right here can push all the way through and it still won't pop it loose. So you have to use, in my case, I use another fork or a wedge, a metal wedge, and I secure that from up underneath and I overlap the two. So I stick it up in there, which creates, takes up some of that slack or that space, and then I go down with this one. And so I hate R-knot struts, but I see a lot of those on these coilover conversions. People who have replaced their OEM ABC strut with R-knot. Like I said, there's more slop on the lower portion where it goes into the lower control arm, and so you need a wider fork or wedge assistance in order to create to fill in that gap enough to pop it out, to pop it loose. All right, so that's just my suggestion there. It works for me. I know it'll work for you. If you have another technique, feel free to explain it. All right, so let me go ahead and remove this one and get to work. Now, again, you do have to bang the heck out of this, and it is slightly angled like that. Use that to your advantage so that you, as you're banging it down, it doesn't go behind this upper control arm, and then you can't hit it anymore with the hammer. So I do it from this angle right here so that it sticks out just far enough where I can continue to hit it once it starts to go down. All right, you know what I'm talking about when you do this, but make sure you get one as long as possible and also as wide as possible, and you'll be good. Okay, guys, so you might be wondering what I'm doing at this point. Well, the rear tends to be the most difficult for most people who do these coilover conversions. If you go on the internet, if you go on YouTube, most often people explain disassembling the outer hub assembly or the brake system in order to drop that lower control arm so that you can install, or first off, remove the ABC strut and install a new coilover. But that is not the best way. That is not the easiest way, because you're going to have a hard time realigning the outer hub assembly to get the bolt back through. It's very difficult because it's under extreme tension. There is a very easy way to do this, guys. What I do is I first pull out this bolt right here. This is the tensioner bar, the rear stabilizer bar or tension bar, whatever. It's a 3-point system. Well, actually a 4.1, 2, yeah, 3-point, okay, 4-point system. Anyways, so the rear bar, this has to come out. This has one of these right here, Allen key head bolt. This is an 18 millimeter nut. Remove that, and you're going to have to lift that up to gain access to this bolt back here, which is the lower control arm, the inner of the lower control arm. Oh, my phone's ringing. So this bolt right here is an 18 millimeter bolt. 18 millimeter nut on the back side, and on the front side is a star just like this. Now what I use for that, you can use the specified bit for this, or you can use, I don't really want to recommend it, but I will. You can use this right here as well, the bit that fits. I can't remember what size it is. Man, dang, I don't even want to get up to find out what size it is, but I will. Hold on. It is a E. Hold on. What is this? T55. T55. Now, you will get a little slop in it because it's not, made specifically for that head, bolt head, but it does work. This right here, I've used for like 2 years, and so I decided to replace it with another one. Now, for me, a smaller one, such as this, I use because I use an attachment like this, which is a 1/4 inch. Is that a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch? I don't remember. But I use this right here, this setup, to reach up underneath and get the head of that bolt. I lift up the exhaust. Don't remember, I do this on the floor. I use floor jacks and jack stands. So I lift the exhaust up right here in order to get enough clearance to pull that bolt out. And I use this extension right here with this bit in order to get this bolt out. 18 millimeter nut on the backside, and this is what I use to get the bolt out. All right, you will need a little assistance because it comes out and then it stops and it just free spins, and then you're going to have to, I use a monkey wrench to start guiding it out to finish removing that bolt. And then you have a 21 millimeter bolt that secures the bottom of the strut. So that's how you get it out. First thing I do is this. Then I do the 21 millimeter bolt and nut combination that holds, that holds the bottom of the strut in place. And then I do the rear, the innermost part of the lower control arm. That drops it, allows it to be removed. Also, this connection, the line, the ABC line, I actually just cut that line, and then I just cut that line. I I remove it from the bracket that holds it, that secures it right here. And I cut the line. Also, I remove the sensors too. So don't forget that. You can just cut the sensor, the wires for that, remove the two 10 millimeter nuts that secures that to the arm, and pull that out as well. Two 13 millimeter nuts across the top of the strut that secures that as well. So sequential, do that, you know, in a way where once you free that lower control arm, it can drop down. So let me do that again. First, remove this right here. Then remove that lower bolt. You can, or lower nut and bolt. You can loosen the top 13 millimeters nuts. Remove the sensor. Cut that line. I bend it. I pry it down, bend it down with my hands, and I get wire cutters or bolt cutters such as these, and I actually cut it. You get access to about right here. You bend it down far enough where you can snip that line. So that when you drop it on the backside, the lower control arm, the inner control arm, when you drop it, everything can drop without tension. Because if you forget to take that sensor off, then it's gonna pull. It's gonna be hard to get off at that point. If you forget to cut that or remove that line, it's gonna still snag and hold the strut kind of in place. So you want to cut that line, the ABC high pressure line. Cut that line, the metal line. You can cut it. You can use a sawzall. Don't use a sawzall because you might cut something else. I use a bolt cutter. It's easier for me to do that. And then I use the quick neck once it's totally removed. It's easier to do the quick neck once it's no tension on it, and you can simply just remove it, and there you go. Throw it in the trash can. So that's my process. To get that exhaust lifted up, I jack the car up enough where I can put the jack stand up underneath it, and then I lower the main jack, and then that puts the tension right there. Be careful. You'll hear it creak because there's heat shields. You'll hear the exhaust and the muffler touch that heat shield. So don't drop it too much. You don't have to drop it all the way. Just give it enough where it clears the bolt. You won't do any damage this way. This works on the 500 and the 550. The 5.5 are the AMGs, the 6.5s and 6.3s. The exhaust is bigger, and so that's not going to work. You have to actually drop the exhaust out the way in order to clear that bolt. You can't lift it. You have to actually drop it out the way. But on the 500 and the 550, you do not have to drop it. Just lift it up about 1 inch, and then that gives you enough clearance. All right. So that's my suggestion for the rear. If you have any questions, let me know. This is the quickest and easiest way. If you do it this way, it takes less than an hour per side. All right, we have here the completed 2007 SL550. The ABC system has been removed, and Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers have been installed. It rides very nice, feels very nice. The way that it sits is very nice. No longer do we have the rear passenger side corner high up in the air. It is now even all the way around. And now the owner will have a stable, reliable ride. Won't have to worry about failure ever again. Very nice. Very nice. So the coilover conversion is done on this SL550, but I still have to get the ABC removed out of the module, out of the programming. I have to do that with Star, and I have to pay somebody else to do that. I don't have that capability. But until I do that, you'll see the ABC red notorious warning light right there that you cannot get rid of. On the 07 through 11, if you pull the fuse, the same fuse that I say to pull on the driver's side engine compartment, the 15 amp fuse for ABC suspension, it'll go away, but it will come back, and you'll also get a ABS and I think a ESP light, something like that. There is no way to do it manually. You have to go into the programming through the Star system and get that removed. Xentry, I have not found it to be able to work. You cannot do it with Xentry. You have to use Star. From what I understand, and from my experience, and from getting another Mercedes tech involved using Xentry, he wasn't able to do it. So Star, gotta use Star. So I'm just going to drive the car, see how it feels. Again, the Silver's Neomax coilover conversion has been completed, and I am now about to just drive it and see how it feels. I have it scheduled tomorrow to do the removal of the ABC from the program. These are the standard standard silvers, Neomax coilovers, default spring rate. I did not go with the Swift spring upgrade. This is the standard spring setup. All right. Feels wonderful. I have 21 in the front. I'm referring to the dampening settings. 21 firm in the front, 17 in the back. That tends to be my default setting when I do these coilovers now. It's a good starting point. Some people like it a little bit more firm. Some people like it a little bit more soft. The front, you do want a 21. That's going to be your handling. That's going to be steering characteristics. You need that firm. The rear, if you want a little bit more spongy in the back for comfort, you can dial it down. No more than 15. But I say 17 is a good balance between firm and soft. Comfortable, very comfortable. There's a noticeable difference between the SL500 and the SL550. You do have more horsepower. And then with the 7-speed transmission, it is a smoother shift in between. Very subtle shifting, not as noticeable. Either way, it feels incredible. Whether you have a 500 or a 550, it doesn't matter. When you put Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers on it, it's going to feel good. It feels real good. So, no worry there. For those of you who feel, oh, if I put coilovers, adjustable coilovers onto a Mercedes, it's going to feel like a Honda. Come on, guys. I drive these cars at variable speeds. My personal SL550, I drive very fast. Very fast. Never does the car feel unsure of its next move, of it being well planted on the road, on the highway. Never does it feel uncertain. Never do I feel uncertain. Never does the car feel less than confident when driving and handling it and pushing it to its limits. The car knows what it wants to do. You as a driver knows what the car is going to do. There's no surprises. It handles fantastic, just as you would want it to handle. Even if you had, in comparison to when you had ABC active body control with adjustable coilovers, it handles just as firm, just as well planted, just as comfortable, in my opinion, and many other opinions. Owners of Mercedes, their opinion as well is in harmony with mine. Very nice, comfortable ride. Very nice, comfortable ride. I personally would not put my name and my business on the line trying to sell you a product that does not meet the standard of those who are purchasing these items. People who love their Mercedes Benz and want their cars to handle just as well as when they bought the vehicle. Now I say that, of course, knowing that this is now adjustable coilovers, not ABC. But most people, most owners of these vehicles, they at the end of the day want a good handling, performance-oriented, comfortable ride in their Mercedes SL. They want to be able to push their car when they want to. They have the power, but they want it to handle and to feel firm on the road and to feel aggressive when they want to be able to drive aggressive. There are coilovers out there that are not adjustable, that feel floaty. They feel unstable under high-speed conditions and even at low speeds. They are noisy. They're creaky. They're not set up to drive aggressively. Not so much with adjustable coilovers. These cars are built with a lot of power and a lot of torque. The suspension, I mean, these cars handle like nothing else on the road. And so really, adjustable coilovers is a compliment to Mercedes engineering. It doesn't take away from it, not at all, not at all. Again, I wouldn't put my personal name, Brandon P. Green, or my company, Gold Element Autoworks, on the line for a product that is subpar, for a product that does not meet my personal standard. I would not sell an inferior product that I know would leave people dissatisfied. I have yet to have a customer come back to me and say, I hate this coilover conversion. I want my ABC back. Nope. It doesn't matter if I'm installing it or if somebody else is installing it. The only variable is the experience of the installer. When I install these coilovers, it's done right the first time. Trust me. You'll be happy. Trust me. All right, guys, so I have the SL550 back from getting the ABC removed from the modules. So now it is very, the dash is very clean. You don't have the ABC warning anymore. You don't have the red light anymore. Remember what I said, that the 07 through 11, you cannot simply pull a fuse, but you have to actually get that removed with the star system. So that's what I just got done, and so now the car is the way that the customer prefers it to be. You do not know that it does not have ABC. You will not get a warning anymore. You can do that with the 02 through 06 as well. You just have to pay the cost unless you know someone with the star system. Somebody will do you maybe a favor, look out for you, or you might have to pay someone. Either way, you can remove the star. You can remove the ABC with the star system or a diagnostic tool that Mercedes uses if you do not want it to pop up. You don't have to spend $500 with the Strutmaster module, the tool that removes ABC, that makes the system think that it still has operational ABC. You don't have to spend that $500 for that kit. You can just simply get it removed through programming. All right, so that's what I have going on here now. This car will be getting picked up tomorrow. It drives very good with the Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers. It handles very nice. Someone getting in this car and driving it around would not know that it does not have ABC. It just feels like a good handling, comfortable vehicle. A nice, balanced, well-balanced SL550. It handles very well. And remember, if you want to adjust it more where it's more firm or softer, you have those options as well. 21 in the front, 17 in the back right now. If you want to make it more firm, I would focus on the back, not the front. Go with an 18, one click at a time, you know. There's no need to go really any further than 20 if you want a really stiff ride, and no reason to go any softer than 15. So I say 17 is a good number. 18 at the most, I would say. Unless you are tracking your car or really driving aggressively, then maybe, like I said, 19. But you definitely want the rear softer than the front, unless you want to feel like you don't have any tires and it's just riding on rim and road. You don't want that. You don't want it that firm, but you know, maybe you do. All right, guys. So consider Silver's Neomax adjustable coilovers for your SLs. It is a great option. You will no longer have to worry about the breakdown of the ABC suspension. It will happen. It's not a matter of can it happen or will it happen. It will. It will happen. It can and will happen. It's just a matter of when it will happen. So, guys, thank you for watching. This car is getting picked up tomorrow morning. So I'm going to go ahead and end this recording. This car is getting shipped back to Mississippi. Thank you so very much for your business, sir. Please tell your family and friends about me. If they own Mercedes, let them know that I am willing to do that coilover conversion. You can buy the products from my website. Go to www.goldelementautoworks.com. I have the coilovers of different makes and models, or different Mercedes models rather, and also the pump and the plugs, the caps, and other accessories that you'll need for the conversion. The reservoir if you want that, and different accessories. All right, guys. So again, thank you. If you need me, call or text me, area code 513-967-8079. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, and continue to follow me for more videos. Take care, guys. Peace out.
Thank you.